Hello, people of the future. Wife, say hello to the people of the future. They're people of the future because right now no one's watching. But soon, people will be watching. Okay. Oh yeah. Normally you guys watch me do this. I'm going to say hi to the first few folks on my channel. Before they tell me, I need to change my notifications. I can be trained. It takes years, ask my wife, but I can be trained. Okay.
All right, go to it.
I'm going. Here we go. Dig up. Control. Enter. Okay, anyway. All right. Ron Sheps, Nate Slanker, Riot Demon, Nemesis RR, John C, Stricken Ghoul, Stacy Hawkins, Rachel Powell, Ken Zarish, Susan Atai, Greg Watkins, Sarah R, Tutwork Studios, Ellis Fire, Brooke E, Christine Salvati, Monty T Freak, Linda Cortez, Poison Sumsea, we're going to just say Sumac, Blackcraft 27, Enigma, Chad Smith, Blue Fairy, hello, Paul, hello Paul Bennett, Larry Hughes, JLR 538LM, John C, Mr. Mike C13, Mr. Mike, as you said my name in an expletive manner, I said yours in an expletive manner. Hello, Captain Margo. Hello, Brooke E. Metal Snake Studios, Christopher Lazode, Pen Kihosky, Pahosky, Kihosky. Ron, I already said say hi to Ron. You don't get two highs, but you do get a happy birthday, Ron. Happy birthday. There you go. Everybody tell Ron happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ron.
Brian Lippert, Victoria Sieber, Rue Newman is here. We already said Line Coat Thor, Jamie Faxon, longest name on YouTube. That's it for beginning of the night shout outs. That was like, what, 30? That was like 700. There's a lot of shout outs. Now a rather traditional section of the broadcast. You watch me make a beverage. This is not the most riveting television. This is what I have to do. I'm in my shop. I need the beverage. I have an emergency sandwich for later in case I need it. Hope it doesn't get too much overspray on it. One time I left a bag of Doritos out and open next to a mold that was curing, a fiberglass mold, and the next day the Doritos strongly tasted of fiberglass. I had to work to eat the whole bag, but I managed. Okay. This is the easy part of the night for wife, because right now they're all just saying hi to each other.
Okay, super random question. I've been thinking of this, but I keep missing lies. How do you properly disinfect silicone masks? I think my haunt does it wrong, but they are falling apart before they should.
Whoa, okay, they should not be falling apart. The silicone should be pretty chemical resistant. And honestly, silicone is fairly antibacterial. It's like a plastic bag. You know, mold's not going to grow on a plastic bag. Mildew's not going to grow on a plastic bag. So just wipe it out with some alcohol. Give it an alcohol mist, and then you're probably going to be fine. I have to hair this Krampus, and then once he is haired, this is the Antler Krampus. Once he is haired, then we're going to beard up an inbred Santa. That's what's happening this evening.
You already poured? Santa?
I have an inbred Santa on the steps, and I'll go pull him here shortly.
So did you answer the disinfecting silicone question?
Yeah, just 99% alcohol. Don't use heavy chemicals on it. It's not necessary.
Brooke
One of-
said, go ahead.
One of the great things about silicone is its chemical resistance. So I don't know what they're using.
She says, yeah, the masks aren't treated super great by the actors. They keep splitting and ripping. The owner instructed us to wipe them out with Clorox wipes.
Clorox wipes are okay. That's a very low concentration of bleach. That would be fine. I don't want to call out like who your masks are made by, but maybe your actors are all beasts. That's also possible.
Enigma says, hey Alan, is there an adhesive that can work inside the lips to glue down lips on silicone mask so it's more flush?
Yes, Silpoxy. Oh wait, no, not Silpoxy. No, that is the adhesive for silicone to silicone. You're talking about silicone to skin. Telesis. You want Telesis is the adhesive that you want. It used to be Telesis 5, but I think it's just Telesis now. That's what all the kids call it.
Let's see. Christine Salvati says, thank you, Alan, and everyone else who helped me out with my cracked mold. I'm more confident now that I can fix it.
Yeah, you can fix it. Very few things are irreversible damage. That's why I tend to just bravely charge ahead, knowing that whatever I screw up, I can probably fix.
Rachel Powell, I spent Thanksgiving with my folks, helped my dad prepare his yard and garage for snow. He's sick, and now I'm quarantined.
Wow. Take care of yourself. But that means you can catch up on YouTube videos. Maybe you're behind on a few YouTube videos.
There you look on the bright side.
Yeah.
Brooke says, oh, and they also are being powdered with baby powder, which I don't like, so they easily slide on and off, but the mask forms. I don't know if that would do anything.
No, even because baby powder now is cornstarch. Very few baby powders are talc because talc in the atmosphere, powder in the air, will cause microabrasions in your lungs, which leads to cancer. So baby powder causes baby cancer. But never mind. No, it's not a problem. And it's honestly better for them to slide off the head forms a little bit easier. But your residual baby powder can catch a funk because that's cornmeal. So if you're using cornmeal, then you do want to disinfect them with something like Clorox wipes.
I'm sure this has been asked, but do you reuse the clay after the molding process?
Rarely. You can. I rarely do because I don't like having little chips of plaster and stuff in my clay. Lots of people do reuse it. I reused it for many years until I could afford not to.
Inbred Friday, Hills Have Eyes original or remake? What you like?
I would probably go with the original because that is where they did the work. They did the work of having the idea. The remake is never going to be as good as the original because, they're just treading on someone else's idea.
Scott Quinter says hello from the Alabama crew. Made it.
Hooray! Okay. Great.
Hello, Skin and Bones. See if Doug Hughes pops in with us tonight. I have not heard back.
Felt weird watching me get dressed. There we go. That'll keep the back from hurting later. Because it's Inbred Friday.
Blue Fairy asks, what is a good way to repair a ripped latex or silicone mask?
Well, those are very different answers because they're very different materials. there is a material that I mentioned earlier by mistake, Silpoxy. Silpoxy is by the company that does the blue and yellow bottles. Smooth On. Silpoxy is by Smooth On, and it's as close to a miracle glue for silicone as I have ever seen. I love it. I know lots of folks who repair stuff with it. Rue is pretty good at repairing silicone masks with it. I have repaired mermaid tails with it and silicone masks. So Silpoxy is it for silicone. And yes, you can use aquarium sealant, 100% aquarium sealant on it. But I think the Silpoxy just does a better job.
Did you texture and paint the base of the horns? If not, they blend perfectly with the mask.
I just airbrushed that seam. I just airbrushed it. I painted and I airbrushed it.
Stacy says the girdle of strength.
That's right.
Greg Watkins, were you able to get any footage of the Alabama client's haunt, or are you able to tell us a name?
It's Atrox. It's Atrox Factory is the haunted house, and I did not get any footage. It was we had a little bit of a weirder time meeting up than we thought we would, but anyway, no, did not get any footage. It's Atrox Factory. If you want to see some cool Stilt Beast Christmas monsters, they're going to have them at their show. They might be open tonight. It is Friday. I know some haunts are open tonight. Good luck to all of you.
It's next week.
Okay, Atrox is next week.
Okay, so Ken would like to know, is that the Gravedigger mask?
Yeah, this is the Gravedigger blank that is also the Antler Krampus. The Gravedigger it's the closest thing to an old man mask that I have, and it is proving itself to be very useful and versatile. Like I hope to be when I am an old man.
Hey, Robert White. Scott McDonald, Alan, do you have a video showing how you made those exact antlers? I saw the big antler video, but I want mine like those.
Okay, so your life is going to be easy. I bought them. Go to eBay, elope.com, eBay, ebay.com. Elope is the company name, Elope Antlers, and you'll find these. They're a little less than 20 bucks.
I'm often learning leaning over sewing machine. It's giving me back pain. Would a brace like that help me, or is it more for standing and lifting? I've never worn one.
It would help you. It'll give you support. A lot of the pain is just your core slouching up. I have terrible posture. I actually walk around 2 to 3 inches shorter than I really am. I blame a lot of that on playing a hunchback 40 to 60 hours a week for about 5 or 6 years of my life. Kind of took a little bit too much of that roll home with me, and but I have terrible posture. So it just helps me because I stand kind of like this, very very much so. And when I actually do stand up straight, it's I'm much taller than people think that I am. I walk around about 5'8", but I'm 5'11". So yes, and my back hurts because I'm not. It's a tower has to work more if it's leaning over. There's more pressure on all these parts than if it's standing straight up. There's less pressure on it, and that's your spine, yo.
John Hayes, foam rubber baking ovens are so extremely expensive. Could you demonstrate how to convert a smoker, possibly with a steady temperature?
No, not a smoker. Okay, who is this for?
John Hayes.
John, here's what you do, all right? Listen, stupid simple. You buy one of those steel shelves from Home Depot for $80, all right, the steel shelves. I set mine at about 14 inches in between each one so I can get face casts in. We have an oven just like this at dark hour, and tell you what. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to draw you a quick picture. All right, so this is your steel shelf, all right? And I buy a big one because I needed a big one. And I want to give you a pro tip. Buy the wheel kit for it. It's 20 bucks. But man, then that thing will roll around your shop no problem, and it's really nice. And then it has shelves like this. Okay? And make yourself out of angle iron a square that fits kind of over it like this. And then line this whole shelf on the outside with sheet metal. You can even wrap it. You can even wrap it in heavy-duty aluminum foil. That'll be fine, because it doesn't have to do a ton. Okay. Inside, here's what you do. All right. So this is the angle iron. You're making a door for L bracket. Gives you an inset to set something. So you know you can make a door for this. Out of foam board that is wrapped in aluminum foil, or a piece of plywood or whatever, and actually put hinges on it so the door opens and closes. But then you cover the outside in sheet metal, so all this is sheet metal, okay, or heavy-duty aluminum foil. You have to be a little more gingerly with it if you do that. And then it has a door, and you can use, you know, there. Here's your heating element, okay? Here's your heating element. Right here on the outside, make a port, okay? For a Harbor Freight heat gun, I kid you not. A Harbor Freight heat gun blows into the bottom of this unit this way. On this side, you're going to take a piece of metal and make a curved ramp like this. So that this hot air, let me change my color to be the color of hot air. Let's say that hot air is red. Your hot air comes out of the heat gun, it hits this ramp, and it does this number here inside of there. All right? Because you want to get to about 190 degrees, 185 degrees, and you'll get that with a Harbor Freight heat gun sitting here. And then at each level on both sides, you stab in a turkey thermometer through the walls. You can drill it through and then silicone it on. But you have a turkey thermometer on each level so that you have a door that opens and closes, and it closes and locks with magnets. And then you have a turkey thermometer on each level to tell the temperature. And your heat gun, a $10 Harbor Freight heat gun, will last for a couple months in there, and then it'll burn out and die, but it was $10. And this is external, you know, and this is all metal. So that is the easiest possible gun that I have, oven that I've ever done for foam latex. There you go. I hope that helped. Wife, did I get real behind on comments?
No, that kind of stopped while you were doing this. Ken says like the vein work on the grave digger mask.
Hey, thanks.
Nicholas says he's going to follow in your footsteps and get a brace. Monty T. Freak, and it says, "Now how you feel? I wear a back brace when I work welder and a fabricator." And they're excited about the possibility of a zombie snail.
Oh.
Is that a zombie snail t-shirt coming?
Maybe. Maybe.
They're all excited about a zombie snail. Chad said, "I saw a video of Russ Turk wearing a mask. He made patches of hair by laying it in swatches of latex, and he glued it to the mask. It's a neat idea, and I may try it. Have you ever done this?"
Yeah, works. Takes forever. He doesn't use Mod Podge much he doesn't use latex much anymore. Now he uses Mod Podge, I believe. But I use the silicone caulk. It's just so much faster.
Stanley S. says, "Is there an easy way to spread liquid nail on EVA horns? It's turning thin and liquidy." Is there an easy way to spread liquid nail on EVA horns? It's turning thin and liquidy.
Turning thin, like it's changing and getting soupier? How hot is your area you're working? Because it will get a little more, it'll have a lower viscosity at a higher temperature, but it shouldn't, I mean, it comes out kind of like pudding, like sour cream. So it should be a sour cream consistency when you put it on. If it's thinner than that, then you might have an old tube or something, but liquid nails kind of has the same properties. So be careful.
Third degree. Alan, what's the best adhesive to repair horns that are separating from a latex Krampus mask? Is it contact cement?
Probably contact cement.
Deja Coleman, random question. Are your work tables on furniture dollies? I love how functional they are.
Well, okay, most of them are units that I purchased that have casters, okay? And I am going to, like one of my soon project plans is to, because the casters are set up where 2 are mobile anyway, and then the other 2 go straight. I want all of them to be all turning. And then I have this unit right here, which is a credenza. This is like a 60s office metal credenza. And I built this platform for it on the bottom to give it a bottom shelf and to put it on casters. So this whole thing is on wheels too. And then, if you go over here, this is like a hand cart that they sold. That's like a hand cart, and it's on wheels. And I bought 2 of those and put this 1960s metal desk on it. So I've got the tabletop, I've got an area under it, and then I've got all those drawers. So, but everything else is like those units with the casters.
Michael OSL, will any hair extensions work for the masks or not have a wig store close by?
As long as they're sewn onto a strip like this, yes. And they don't even have to be that, but it's just way more convenient and easy. And I am a fan of convenient and easy.
Paul Bennett. Shelves with heater, flow circulation, the drawing. Is that what Alan said?
Yes, Paul, yes.
Hawkeye 79. If you were able to make a grouch body, how would you achieve the proper shape? A fat suit, maybe?
Yeah, you do a pouch, you do a pocket, and now most of the time they do styrofoam beads on the inside. Or you can do plastic beads.
Six Drum Psycho says, love the horns.
Hey, thanks.
Carrie Ann Olson, I'm working on next year's Halloween costumes. I have an endoscopy on Monday. Hopefully I get back to a non-liquid sometime after, depending on what they find.
That's awesome.
John Hayes.
Enjoy your roto-rootering.
I've seen candles and glue guns inserted as fake dripping wax for crowns. Candles and glue guns inserts as fake dripping wax for crowns.
Okay. Are you referencing anything in particular? Is that part of a question that was asked earlier?
Yeah, John, I'm backing up here to see if I missed a comment earlier.
Or are you just spouting random things that you've seen? Which is fine, like we do that here. I just want to make sure that I'm helping you to the fullest.
Making sure I didn't miss something. Hello, Jerry Collins. He says, hi, Alan and Shannon. I almost broke some ribs last week. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, knock that off. Do less of that.
Carrie Ann Olson says, I didn't know you could cook latex.
Well, you bake foam latex. You don't cook latex. You mix it with very particular ingredients at a very particular speed for a very particular amount of time. You add a gelling agent, and then you bake the foam that you make. And that is foam latex.
Anthony Hentano says, hello. Michael Loisel says, is that a new wolf mask in the background?
The mask in the background is from Mikey Severe. He and I traded blanks. He got a Wolfman 2020 from me, and I don't know what this guy's name is. Mikey Severe tends to do cute names. He's a very interesting fellow. And if you're not familiar with his work, you should be.
Hawkeye says, I love the shop and tool hack recommendations.
Hooray.
Chad says, speaking of the hair, when I went shopping for hair, that was kind of overwhelming and quite a lesson. Might be a good video idea to walk through all the hair options and what to look for when buying.
Okay, that's fine. That's pretty much it. That's a niche, but I could do that.
What do you think of pool noodle candles?
I think they're okay. I think they limit your size. They're pretty chunky. And also, it's tough to get one, unless you have white pool noodles, you don't want your light to glow through. I prefer shark bite tubing in 1-inch thick pieces, because the shark bite, you put an LED in there and it glows through it just like a candle would.
Brooke E. I love that mask. That's super cool. Someday when I own my own haunt, I hope to do a Christmas show too and have a bunch of cool Krampusen. I'm using that word forever now since you taught us.
Hooray. Yeah, when you do that, give me a call. I'll make you some monsters.
C. Gomez says hello. Hello.
Hello.
C. Gomez. J. Carrillo. In case I missed it, what kind of sandwich are you having?
This is a turkey, cheese, and mustard sandwich. I love Thanksgiving leftovers. I love sandwiches. And a turkey sandwich is pretty awesome.
Third Degree says, is that the Mikey that works with distortions?
No, that's Mikey Rotella. Mikey Severe is a different person than Mikey Rotella.
Hey Alan, if you have horns pre-sculpted in clay, would the best route to be expanding foam if latex with contact cement?
Okay, read it to me one more time.
If I have the horns pre-sculpted in clay, would the best route be expanding foam if it's latex with contact cement?
You have them sculpted in clay. You would have to mold them in ultracal or some kind of a plaster. Mold them with plaster. Clean the clay out. Pour up a latex skin. It'd have to be a 2-piece mold for most horns. To a degree. And then clean your clay out. Pour up in latex. If you don't pour very thick, then yes, you have to foam fill, depending upon the shape of your horns. And then, yeah, I'd probably use contact cement to hold them on. But once you foam fill, you're going to add a bunch of weight. And I think latex horns in general are pretty heavy. So you might need to add a flange to your horn so you have a lot more surface area to glue down.
Is there a wire armature in the horns?
No, these are just foam. These are just foam.
Monty Freak, I love the ram horns in the background. It reminds me of the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Tim. Carrie Ann Olson says, roto-rootering. I've been on a liquid diet for a month with a suspected bowel blockage.
Wow.
Testing done, and my GI doctor thinks it's a tight bend in my congenital mallorated GI tract. Wow.
That sounds fun. When I was a kid, I was a big fan of G.I. Joes.
Mike.
Probably completely different.
Stop. Mike Murphy says, are you still looking for a shop monkey? If so, I can do it. If so, can I do it?
Are you in the area? Like, because if you're in like Massachusetts, then you cannot. It's a heck of a commute.
Carrie Ann says, my mallorated GI tract has been causing me problems my whole life and will most likely continue to be a problem, be a lifelong problem.
That is how that works sometimes, and it's unfortunate.
Rick Watkins, when you sculpt, do you have it in your head to sculpt so that you can get multiple characters from one sculpt, such as Krampus and Gravedigger or Witch and Elf?
I don't normally have it in my head to do that. Normally, I do the coolest sculpt that I can for the character that I want, and then I try to think of what else can I use this for.
That's not for you, baby. That's not for you. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Thank you. That's not for you. That's not for you.
What did Boris have?
3 gloves.
Would you push that glove drawer closed down there?
Because the glove drawer is open.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was peeping on them with Inbred Santa.
Okay. Enigma says the horns I made are 2 pieces of a split jaw, and they look antler reminiscent. So the weight is weird on it. I don't think latex only will work. I will post it to the group.
Okay. Pictures always help with this kind of stuff.
John Hayes says some taxidermy use animal forms. They don't have a real animal. Can you use that form to use as a wearable mask?
No. Taxidermy forms are solid foam. They're really nice. I've used them before for sculpting animals and stuff. But they're solid. I mean, the amount of work you have to do to make it into a mask would be immense.
3rd Degree says field trip. Chad Smith says, I haven't had any movement on my Christmas masks, so I'm changing gears. Going to work on building up my inventory on masks I've already done.
I gotcha. That's cool. Yeah, I liked your door sniffer. I wish he looked a little meaner. He didn't look very mean, and I think something, if you're going to do Christmas characters, I think they should have an edge of angriness to them. Because you're already fighting how positive and happy Christmas is to begin with. You have to make them look a little darker.
Monty says that is an awesome haul of masks. Mike Murphy talking about being shot, like he says, he can be here in 19 hours.
Oh, I see. 19 hours. Got it. That's convenient.
Sarah R. says, I always love seeing your hallway of monsters.
Well, them's the stirs.
I really like that. We're hoping for a field trip. Carrie Ann Olson, GI tract, aka gastrointestinal tract.
I got it.
The endoscopy is to see if my issues are the tight bend or my gallbladder. If it's the bend, I'm going to need my 3rd surgery for my bowel issues.
I learned more about your colon and duodenum this evening than I ever thought that I would. I wish you luck in your internal endeavors.
Chad Smith, any suggestion on how I could make it more scary with the current mold? Or am I kind of stuck with it as it is? I'll take the advice into mind moving forward on it.
You're kind of stuck with it as it is, unfortunately, because it was sculpted and molded, you know. Yeah, once the mold is made, it's hard to change the features. This is the brand I don't like, but it sure is long. Look at that 30-inch hair. Although this is not 30 inches. This is like 19. Let's measure this 30-inch hair.
Have you seen the Mask movie with Cher?
Yes. This is about 24 inches.
Susan Matai says, I'm staring at your sandwich. Now I'm hungry.
It's a delicious sandwich, I bet.
Chad Smith says, well, I wasn't sure if you had something in mind paint-wise. I figure I'll make him gross and creepy.
No, and you know what? In all honesty, with that mask, do him as Santa, too. Do a straight Santa version.
Michael says, peace and love to everyone. I hope you're having an awesome day. Thank you, Michael. Hope you are having an awesome day, too. Unknown Origin FX. Added clay to a mold to subtract features is easy. Added clay to a mold to subtract features is easy.
Yes. Yes. I don't think that would help Chad in this particular case. That's what I do whenever I say I can do my three-eyed goat without a third eye. I just clay off that third eye. Yes.
Carrie Ann Olson, at least you're learning. Nobody's ever too old to stop learning. You guys have a good Thanksgiving.
We did.
Riot Demon, your suggestion for super glue on my broken Christmas decoration ended up working. Thank you again.
Hooray! This is not as white as I want it to be, but I'll airbrush it after. But boy, do I hate working with hair this long. How blobtastic did this get to be? When it's all staticky, it's shooting off in different directions. Rah! By the way, this is what your life would be like if you were my sheepdog.
Hawkeye 79. Any
Who's a
good
good
tips when using
Who's a good boy?
epoxy sculpt?
Epoxy sculpt.
Any good tips when using epoxy sculpt?
Wet your hands frequently. Keep a little bowl of water there because you can kind of smooth epoxy sculpt with water, and it'll keep it from sticking to your hands. I like to wear gloves with epoxy sculpt. And if you smell just the B side, it smells like Doritos.
Brain Crawler says hello.
Hello.
Oh, John C. says if you volunteer for GI surgery, you've got guts. Enigma says half mask or more like 3/4 of a mask from what I'm seeing.
Enigma, what's the question? Is there a question there? This is a half mask. A half mask is meant to cover half of the head. A lot of people say it's a half mask when it stops right here, but this is a quarter mask. It's only covering 1/4 of your head. That's a quarter mask. A half mask covers half of your head. A 3/4 mask covers 3/4 of your head, leaving this back bit here not covered. So a 3/4 mask is back here, up here, and here. A half mask is these two. A quarter mask is this quarter. So, and a full head mask, of course, is all 4/4. This is very much a half mask. Covers half your head.
Hello, David Quintana.
Now, my half mask form is deeper than most. Many of them cut off at the ears, but I want ears on my sculpture, so I make mine big enough to include ears.
Greetings from Costa Rica.
Greetings.
Which monster makers have inspired you throughout your career?
Well, let's say Ed Edmonds. Let's say, of course, Stan Winston, Rick Baker, Tom Woodruff Jr., another good one. Jack Pierce, of course, Jack Pierce. Yeah, you know, the regulars.
Do you find the half mask is the way to go for efficiency?
It's comfort. It's all comfort. I make masks for haunted houses, and actors are happier in half masks. They're happier when they don't wear masks at all, but they don't look as cool, in my opinion, unless you have a good makeup artist. And even then, you can't guarantee that they're going to look good all night.
You think a half mask is a lucrative business?
If you're good at making half masks, yes. If you don't make good half masks, then you'll have a hard time selling them. And there's the factor of you have to get your name out there a little bit too. People have to know about your work in order to want to buy it.
John Hayes, just a reminder, you said very long ago to make sure to have holes in the ears so you can hear better.
Yep.
I would love to be able to make a half mask like that.
Well, I sell half mask sculpting forms on my website. I have a lot of videos on making masks and sculpting half masks. So you have the opportunity to learn and do it.
From the Monster.
We also have what we call Monster Camp. This hair is so long that it's heavy. So I'll have to pin this down a little bit. Okay.
Unknown Origin says Facebook group Latex Mask Central has a mentorship as well.
Yes.
Brooke says, Monster Camp is on my dream list for sure. Just currently trying to save all my money to move 3,000 miles. So sadly, a lot of things are on the back burner for a while.
It's a lot of miles.
Enigma says, can you do a video on how to hide eye holes in the design? And also, what is a good circumference for eye holes?
Well, the eye hole circumference depends on how close the eye hole is to the eye. Because think about a knot hole in a fence. If you are 5 feet away from that knot hole, you'll say, I can't see anything through that knot hole. But if you put your eye 1 inch away from the knot hole, or right up against it, then you can see everything, because the fence even kind of goes away as it gets real close to your eye. So it depends on how far away it is. You have to understand, where is the human head going to be inside of the mask you're making. Once you know where the human head is going to be inside of the mask, then you should be able to make a accurate sized eye hole. I have some masks with eye holes the size of a pencil eraser, because the eye hole is right here. Most of mine I make slightly smaller than the eye socket sized eye holes, or slightly larger than the area of the eye.
What is the mentorship? I think the mentorship on Latex Mask.
Well, I'm an admin at Latex Mask Central, and it's a very underutilized feature where someone can hop on and say, I'd like to learn, and then someone who has agreed to a mentor will get that message, and then you two can just message back and forth privately. It's something that I do for folks kind of every day, so feel free to also just message me or email me at stillpiecestudios@gmail.com.
C. Gomez, hey Alan, what would be a cheap alternative to polyfoam that would be just as soft? I love the mask, by the way.
So you're not going to like this. You could sculpt it. Polyfoam really isn't that soft most of the time. Polyfoam is not that soft. It's a rather rigid foam. It's almost like pool noodle foam, even the 3-pound stuff. So he said inexpensive. That was a key factor.
Cheap alternative to polyfoam, but just as soft.
Then you're talking about building it up out of upholstery foam. And you can follow like Ted Haynes, excellent upholstery foam fabricator. There used to be a guy with a TV show who did Monster Man, I think it was called, something like that. And that was really good stuff. He all did upholstery foam build-up work.
Deja Coleman, where is the best place to find out about workshops?
It's going to be monitoring our social media. Look at, follow Still Piece Studios on Facebook. And do we have a newsletter on the website?
We just keep it up there.
Yeah.
John Hayes, I can't wait till the border opens to travel to the camp 20 plus hours away.
Hooray!
Deja, and just to clarify, when you're saying workshops,
She means Monster
are you
Camp.
asking Monster Camp? If you go to our website, there's a spot. Just go to our website and click Monster Camp, and there's a lot of information there. We do not have dates for the next Monster Camps yet. You have to wait. Happening Mojo, hello. It says Ted Haynes. Was Monster Man the show after Face Off? Sci-Fi?
Yeah, it was Clive. Clive?
Bye.
I think his name was Clive. Talented guy. They did play up the drama aspect on that show quite a bit, and I wasn't a fan of that. Surprise, me not a fan of drama at all.
Have you ever used cable-controlled masks?
Yes. I've used them and I have made them. They don't necessarily hold up very well for haunted house use. They look cool, but they're very much a fiddly mechanical thing that it just needs too much maintenance than you want to put in the normal haunted house's hands.
Alan, is Monster Camp your only mentorship? I don't do Facebook.
Well, Monster Camp is classes here. Monster Camp is classes here in the shop. Monster Camp, we have an airbrush lab, we have a mask making lab, I do a Krampus lab, I might do a werewolf lab in the future. Hello, buddy. Jones. Jones is looking up and he just wants attention. Have to do this for a little bit.
Everybody's excited about Jones.
Bones Jones.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
The
holding
drama.
you.
He's
I'm
so
holding
dramatic.
you.
What in the world?
There we go.
Everybody's excited about Jonesy.
He runs right up to my feet, stares up, and meows at me until I pick him up.
You were talking about labs and camps.
Yes, we do labs and camps here in the shop. Latex Mask Central is a latex mask group that I'm an admin of. Yeah, I'm an admin of. So I kind of handle a lot of that. But shoot me an email, and send me some pictures of your work, and I'll help you critique it or whatever. I help folks when I can.
Cat Swift, if you don't cover your sculpt with plastic, how long will it take to completely dry out and be ready to paint? Or should I just use a different clay if not molded?
Hold on.
If you don't cover your sculpt with plastic.
Okay, so the clay that I use, water-based clay, wet clay, it will never dry out evenly. It's going to crack. It's going to fall apart. So hopefully you're talking about some kind of an air dry clay, which most of the time will crack and fall apart. It's just not a reliable way to do it. So that's just not a good solution. What kind of clay are you using so that I can help you better?
KBFX says, so after a recent photo on Latex Mask Central, people thought I looked like a young Alan.
I saw that. I think you are that handsome, by the way.
Anthony Pantano, Wednesday night after my gig, we stopped at a gas station on the way home to get gas, and there was a cat by the gas pumps we were at, but he ran off when we pulled up. I wanted to bring him home, but I couldn't.
You just kidnapped their cat. That's fine.
David Quintana says, that sounds like a lot for me to take in a weekend. I need practice before I come to camp.
You don't. I'd actually rather you didn't. I don't want to have to beat any habits out of you that you picked up that are bad. Truthfully. One of the pieces of advice that I give people a lot is you can reach out to folks and get advice, but follow the advice of one person. Doesn't have to be me. Follow the advice of one person who makes molds successfully. Somebody very recently wanted to mix methods, and they said, well, I want to use the spray paint as a sealer like Ed does, and I want to use Ultracal like you do. I'm like, no, don't mix that. Ed uses leather brown Krylon spray paint on US #1 pottery plaster. It sticks like the dickens to Ultracal. So don't do that. So find one person, because they do things the way they do for a reason, and they've made it work over time. Know that they're successful so that they're going to be giving you good advice.
Good evening from Arkansas.
Good evening, Arkansas.
I would love to take a tutorial on build for werewolf animal stilt legs. I've seen a few, but they look complicated.
They're complicated.
That's what I'm concerned about. So what clay to make a mounted head like on a plaque? Any kind of air dry?
Air dry, no. Air dry is problematic. Don't do that. Look at a clay like an epoxy sculpt, which is a two-part clay, which you meld together. Then you have about an hour to work with it before it hardens up, because that's going to harden. That's a chemical reaction, and that will get hard and stay hard, and it won't crack on you. But the air dry clays are pretty much every single one of them is going to crack on you. So I cannot recommend any of them.
Kat says, so far I'm altering and tweaking existing masks and things, but I want to sculpt from scratch.
I got that. And I understand that you want to skip the knowledge barrier because you don't know how to mold, and so I just want to sculpt it and then have it be done. Well, if you want to do that, then your answer is paper mache or epoxy sculpt. Paper mache, there's a temporariness to it. It's paper. So, I think the epoxy clay, the epoxy sculpt is the best way to go. But just learn to mold. Just learn to mold. You can do it. It's not that hard. You think there's a knowledge gap, you want to leap over that knowledge gap and skip that whole part of the process. Don't. You'll be much more rewarded if you are able to sculpt and mold.
The mask in the back with the ram horns looks like it could be used as Valak from the Nun. Let's see that.
It's a little toothy, but that's possible. That is possible. The bone structure is there.
Hey, Amy Watkins.
That is another famous person who I didn't know I was Facebook friends with.
The actress.
Until she commented, Bonnie something. Until she commented on something, and someone messaged me like, "Hey, that's the Nun." I'm like, "Who?" Yeah. I watched the movie. It was good.
Hey, Amy Watkins, Monster Camp. Monster Camp
Woohoo!
6. Monster Camp 6, Amy Watkins.
And the AC/DC Gravedigger. Always remember that video.
What's your personal least favorite clay to work in? Mine's polymer.
I'm not a huge fan of polymer clay because it's crumbliness. Crumbliness.
That's what he said too.
My least favorite clay? I guess monster clay. It's so hard to get out of the mold. If I'm going to mold with silicone, then I don't mind using monster clay, but I just rather would use anything else. It's so tenacious. It holds on to the mold well, and then when you want to clean it out, it's hard.
Hot Guy says paper clay isn't bad, but you can't do details.
It'll also crack if you're too thick with it, so you have to be careful.
Happen in Mojo says, any recommendations for videos on cable masks or animatronics?
Just Stan Winston. No. There's just not a lot on YouTube. Now, Gary Willett, look up Gary Willett. He did some good stuff a few years back, making an animatronic gorilla and an animatronic werewolf. So Gary Willett.
Have you ever done a rat fink or gasser mask? Do you remember them?
Yes. Rat fink, the Eli Big Daddy Roth kind of style. I have not done any of those.
Cat Swoop says, thanks. I work with a lot of paper mache, and I know it's oops and goods. Just want to try things out with heads before the molding part. I'll try 2-part epoxy.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of good ones. There's a bunch of good ones. I like Habitat, which is from Smooth On. Freeform Habitat Black, I like that stuff. So a lot of good stuff out there.
John Hayes says, I like the ram horns in the back. I am an Aries.
Hooray.
Hawkeye, a blend of paper clay and epoxy sculpt isn't bad, but the bulk of the head in the paper clay and then add details of epoxy sculpt.
Okay.
Is it sandwich time?
Sorry, no anybody more sandwich. Bonnie Morgan.
I use clean clay when I sculpt something, says Joe Reese. Anthony Pantana says, how'd the pink bear mask turn out?
Like a pink bear mask.
Your Baby Yoda epoxy sculpt job was amazing.
Yeah, that's a whole video on that. Bear mask.
He's shipping out soon.
Yeah.
That's cute. Rookie, so, oh my God, I was watching the bear mask live the other day. I think he might have made one of the masks for the haunt I work at because we have one of those. It's so awesome.
I sold a lot of those. It's quite possible.
Stacy says, Bonnie Morgan is also the daughter of the guy in the Cujo suit.
Awesome.
Crazy. Brooks says, we've had the bear mask since around 2012, I believe, before that.
Yep. I've made them for a very long time.
Hey, Blackcraft27 says this looks great.
Hey, thanks. It's so easy to tangle this hair. It's so long and it's so fine.
Hawkeye says, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the Netflix movie Hubby Halloween used Nassau's NH Fright Kingdom props.
Yep.
Grappy UK, hi Grappy UK, says, hey guys, hope you're doing well. Had a happy Thanksgiving. I finished the second dragon. I'll pop a video on tomorrow for the delay I've had. No phone. Sorry for the delay I've had no phone. Thank you.
Perfectly understandable.
Would love to see it.
I don't beat people up when they don't post videos all the time in hopes that people won't beat me up if I miss an evening or so. So you're all good, homie.
Have you been watching Animal Planet to get your inspiration for more downs?
No. Google image search is normally sufficient.
Good evening to all. Delayed reaction, Zombie Snail and Jonesy. Sorry I'm in another room. I love the two faces on one mask.
Yeah.
Any new ideas for making faux corn stalks that look real?
I have a video on making corn stalks, but I do change how I do the leaves. Now I just do the leaves with one wire down the center, and normally I use a zip tie. You just zip tie it on, and you have that nice long strand, and you take masking tape on each side and cut it into a leaf shape. And masking tape is the same color as dried corn.
Stacy says, should you ever need wig detangler, 1 part liquid fabric softener and 8 parts water in a spray bottle will do the trick.
That sounds like way too much work. But yes.
First time watching Krampus, and most say for your masks in general, says Captain Mario. Blackcraft, when did you first discover to fluff the hair with a comb after you apply it to the mask?
Ever since I watched my sister tease her hair before going to the roller rink. When I was 12 and she was 14.
Oh my goodness.
And her nickname was Ducky.
Oh, you should. I'm sure she's not watching, but that's awesome. Oh, you didn't even think to stop. You didn't even question whether or not to
No,
divulge that. You
yeah.
just threw it out there.
That's right. The static on this hair, every time I get close, it like jumps out towards me, and then I have to free it.
James Whittle, hey, Alan, can you show us details when you do the last row of hair? How do you hide the root?
I'm doing it now.
Why was she called Ducky? I used to tease my hair too.
I don't know why she was called Ducky. Like, I forget.
Chad says it's okay, all women tease their hair in the 80s.
And plus, at haunts, you know, there's always like this section of girls who work there who really tease the snot out of their hair, and it, you know, it makes them look different and scary.
When Jones came on here, it's so funny to see this whole segment of the comments that were reported all to. Let's look at it. Hawkeye's heading over, heading out. He says, "Got to call it night. I'm tired of leftovers. Thank you as always."
Oh man, I just got started on. I love leftovers. I prefer leftovers more than firsts most of the time.
David Quintana says, "The detail in the mask are crazy good."
Hey, thanks, homie.
Blackcraft says, "I was born in 91, so I do not know about hair teasing."
Yeah, you got to learn. You got some catching up to do.
Stacy says, "It's me. I'm in the hair teasing section." Enigma says, "Is it okay to sculpt with less detail or less refined at a haunt because the lights hide a lot?"
Here's the answer. Yes. Yes, the lights hide a lot. Perfectly okay to have a mask in there with less detail. But it's harder to sell because you're not going to sell in haunt conditions most of the time. You're going to sell in the light of a trade show floor. You're going to sell with good pictures on a website or on an Etsy store or whatever. So, yeah, the masks work just fine. But will people buy them?
Chad Smith says, "At my haunt, I mostly have the girls dump a ton of conditioner in their hair for the greasy look. My kids' hair is always so soft in the month of October."
That's another way to go.
Kat says, "Shannon, today I watched a guy use leftovers inside pie crust, sort of a pocket Thanksgiving meal. Brilliant!
Pasties.
Brilliant. Love it."
Pasties, not pasties. Very different. Watch your Google searches, kids. Pasties.
Leftovers are a gift from the Lord.
Ooh, hairline.
That's what we're going to have tonight. That's what's for dinner tonight, honey.
I'm having a sandwich right now.
Sandwich.
Es un samicho.
Mm-hmm. Chad says, "I love leftover sandwich, turkey, cranberry, mayo, cheese. Dang, now I'm hungry."
Maybe even some stuffing.
Kat says, "It was very much like a pasty, even crimped on the edges. It just seemed like a nice change from sandwiches." I agree. I will make Cornish pasties and meat pies and such because I can heat them up fast and feed the crew, and they don't have to stop. And
Now,
it's all hand food.
I do mix-ins too. Like one of my favorite things to do with the leftovers is just take mashed potatoes and mix whatever you want in with the mashed potatoes.
Kat says, "It was very much." Paul Bennett says, "Put your Still B Studios hat on this mask, and he'll look fantastic."
Hooray! Pimpin' ain't easy. What? You're haunted.
I think it was your straw. That's it. Your straw.
Oh no.
You just made it. Okay, so YouTube, what doing? Hello, YouTube. Stacy says, we did leftovers in between sheets of crescent rolls, turkey toaster strudel. Brilliant.
What doing? I'm making a mask. I'm making an inbred Santa.
Lion Cook says, turkey pot pie. Third Degree says, today was officially pie for breakfast day. I conform. And Third Degree, your video of the cranberry sauce was the best thing I saw yesterday.
That's wife's favorite.
That was hilarious. And perfect. It's tradition. That was fun.
What are the odds that this sandwich has no hair on it? 0.
Gonna eat it anyway.
Yeah.
What Third Degree says, "Thwop." Did you see the video he posted? That's so great. Oh, that was good. John Hayes says, the only holidays that's different from Canada and the USA is Thanksgiving. Ours was in October.
Yeah.
Third Degree says, glad you enjoyed the video. I'm glad you also enjoy the canned goods. I make it fresh, but I do not ever not have the canned stuff.
Not uncommon for wife to have 2 different cranberry sauces on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm kind of devoted. Lion Cook says, I love the turkey this year. Alan and Shannon, it was beautifully cooked.
She is a good cooker of turkeys. So what I have
says, I love your work. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, YouTube.
Kinsbury says, the cobbler, cranberry sauce, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and filet beef.
Sounds good. I'd eat that.
You're very zoomed in, you mean?
I'm zoomed in because I'm showing a detail.
Okay.
Just remind me to zoom back out.
I shall.
If you hold this in your mouth, make sure you hold the end without silicone on it. It's a little disconcerting to see like someone named YouTube pop on your YouTube channel. It's almost like you're a teacher and the principal's in the back of the classroom watching for today. It's like, I don't know who that is. That could be like a weird homeless dude. I have no idea. It could actually be YouTube. I don't know.
Lisa Aaron said, not the mask to watch while eating leftovers. How did Alan decorate the turkey this year?
Very carefully. There are pictures of it on the Creepers page.
Black Guy says, I like the turkey monster. Great job. While I don't sit in on turkey dinner, I have often cooked it for the family. My daughter had to have canned cranberries pushed out so the ridges were visible. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know it's real if you don't see the ridges.
Are you going to use hair on the eyebrows?
Well, the other eyebrow is a face, so I can really only do one eyebrow, and I probably will do one eyebrow on him, yes.
Cat Swift says, I hope you don't mind. I have sent your decorated turkey pig out to many.
Go ahead, it's all good. One day when I get smart, I'll like brand those, like Stilpy Studios on the bottom. But today it's not that day.
We just say, it's a picture of a turkey.
Yeah, it's our turkey.
It's a turkey.
And it stays decorated for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we take that off, we eat the turkey.
No, we eat it.
I'm not so fancy that I get a prop turkey or anything.
gave you full credit. Yeah, we don't, I'm not gonna brand a picture of the turkey. It's a turkey, enjoy it.
Now I put down more silicone than I want to use. The widest I want is about 1 inch at a time because it gets a little hard to control.
Jody Cardinal checking in from Orlando. Hello, creepers.
Hello, Jody Cardinal.
Chad Smith says, I'm guessing this is an older mask since it has Velcro straps.
That just means it was made before March. I think I switched over in March. So I had this one painted up, ready to go to Transworld. Transworld didn't happen. I switched gears, but surprise, it's Christmas now.
David Quintana says, I'm glad you gave close up. I was curious about the amount of silicone you were using in the hair, on the hair.
The answer is plenty. If it's not sticking, use more silicone. That's better.
Can you tint gel silicone with smooth on pigment?
Yes. You can also just tint it with oil paints. That's the way to normally do it. Kind of using the stick to squeeze out the excess silicone. It pushes down the hair, and I squeeze out any excess silicone up off the top, and I scrape it off of the mask. So much extra I got off.
Alan, you can also get a can of Static Guard laundry section at the grocery store, and a short burst stops the static.
Yes, I could. But I don't have that right now. I have starch, I have spray starch. I'm sure that won't be helpful at all.
Mike Murphy says, if I can be there by Monday, can I have the job? I won't let you down.
Well, how long can you stay? And are you okay working crazy, stupid hours?
Kevin Emojo says, what are your thoughts on Psycho paints for coloring silicone?
Psycho, I mean, It's silicone that you're tinting. It's fine. You know, I think it's a good way to paint it. Works well, but it's, you know, you're thinning silicone and tinting it and using it as paint.
David says, whoever can create a solution that you pour into a caulking tube that will make it pourable like smooth-on silicones would be a billionaire.
It would still be a tin cure silicone. So, and if it's going to dry in the mold at thickness, then why wouldn't it cure in the tube?
Rafi UK says, I accidentally put strawberry jam on my turkey once. It was nuts.
I bet it was wonderful.
Says, would be cool to give this guy one big break.
Yes, it would. That would be very cool. That's not what's in the picture on the website, so I'm not going to do it. It's not that I don't think that your idea is cool. It's just that that is not what I have sold a customer on already.
Mike Murphy says, I'm moving anyway, so I can stay forever.
Well, let me know when you move to Texas. We'll talk. If you think I'd be fun to work for, ask Rob.
That's what, oh, it's something sexy.
Don't use your finger to do this with the hair. Use the stick, because it'll stick to your finger, and then your finger will look like that. Then you got to find a spot to wipe it on. So normally, right between my two pockets on my pants, there's always like a light silicone patch, because that's where I clean my thumbs off.
When do you switch colors from year to year?
Normally, I would do it after all my transfer orders are done. So I would normally do it in July. This year is different. I probably won't switch colors this year. Also, I'm launching the paint based off of these colors, so I'll keep them until next year.
Dirty Santa says shrimp.
Yeah, no shrimp in this one's mouth.
I see monsters. I'm so glad to see how you apply the hair like this. The hair I have is not sewn on a strip and needed to see how to apply it. Thanks.
Yeah, a little bit at a time. Don't try and lay a bunch at once. Do a little bit at a time. And even then, it's kind of tricky to, you know, I have it in this hand, and then I have to transfer it to this hand without, you know, messing up the alignment of all that hair. Then fan it out just a little bit, and then I press it in to that silicone.
John Hayes says, I wish I could move there, but I'm in Canada. Paul Bennett saying, with the hair on your pants and your shirt be like a hairy tutu.
It would. It's a hairy tutu. Yeah, finding a spot to put the hair down is also always weird.
Anthony Van Thomas says, my friend from the Knights of the North mailed me his old brigandine armor. It's a bit big on me, but I can work it on it to slim it down to fit me.
Awesome. I rarely have that problem. Often I have to slim down to fit whatever it is that I want to do. One of the reasons I learned the stilt walk is because Alan, like this, dressed up as a wolf man, looks like a teddy bear because I have that thick middle. But when I'm on stilts, I'm lengthened out enough, I can be a menacing wolf man again.
Are you leaving the length?
Yeah, absolutely. Why would I not?
This would may be a tough question to answer because you're very well rounded. What mask making techniques do you not have that you wish you did have or want to learn? This is Chad Smith.
I'm not amazing at painting silicone. I get by, but I'm not amazing at it. I'm not really good at it. I'm not as good at painting eyes as I would like to be. I'm not as good at sculpting as I would like to be. I think there's room for me to become a much better sculptor than I am now.
Silicone take paint differently.
Yes. This is clear silicone. It doesn't like to take paint, in all honesty.
You know, silicone masks like you're talking about there.
Oh yeah, well, hey, I thought you meant the silicone that I'm using for the caulk silicone. Yeah, it does take paint very differently. You use a lot of translucence and you build it up in color, and you tint your silicone for your base mask, your base color, so that it's intrinsic, so it's in there. I'm using the right word, but I wasn't saying it right.
Cobweb says hello.
Hello, cobwebs. Okay, so this is not, his beard is not done, but this is a good base for the beard. And that's all of the super long hair I'm going to use. Everything else I use now is going to be a shorter white hair to do like a bit of a mustache and just a little bit up in here to blend in. Let me go grab that.
Catspoop says, I think the lesson to be learned is that while you might not be amazing, you keep trying and getting better. We are often our worst critics. Just keep doing it. Chad Smith says, what a glorious beard. John Hayes, there's so many colors in the human skin.
Yes, yes there is. There goes that just random knowledge that John likes to spew. How many dimples on a golf ball, John?
Arm says it's an inbred ZZ Top.
Yes.
Cobweb says 186.
I think that's low. I think you're about 100 off. Alexa, how many dimples are on a golf ball?
Most golf balls have between 300 and 500 dimples.
Captain Mojo says silicone really only wants to stick to silicone. Kind it has similar bond structure to fats, so oils can cling kind of like plastic Tupperware compared to us.
Yep, exactly. And that's why I don't bother cleaning out plastic airbrush bottles. They're really hard to clean out. Glass airbrush bottles are easier to clean out, and yet I don't like them because I drop them on a concrete floor, they break. All right. So what would you guys ask Inbred Santa for as a present this year? Let's say you were good and you got to go sit on Inbred Santa's lap
Gross.
because he didn't even mind COVID. What would you ask Inbred Santa for? Not regular Santa, Inbred Santa.
Cobweb says a sister.
Walked into that one.
Oh my God, Kitty. Reed wants a pet possum.
A pet possum.
Bob Boy wants a corn cob. Okay.
Like a new one, or just the
He
car?
said- He just said corn cob.
It's like that kid who they jokingly wrap up a banana and give it to him for Christmas, and he's so thrilled to get a banana for Christmas. Have you not watched that video?
Of what?
Don't watch it now. It's a kid opening up a banana, and he's thrilled. They give it to him as a Christmas gift, as a joke. They wanted to make him angry, but he was really thrilled. And there's either the same kid or a different kid gets an avocado for Christmas, and they're thrilled. Yeah. So you might not have to fork out that money for the Xbox 5 or whatever it is. PS5, PlayStation 5. What's coming out with a 5 now? I'm not hip. I'm so not hip. I'm closer to Alma hip.
PS 54. I see Monsters wants a shop like yours.
Hooray!
PS5.
PS5.
Larry Hughes. For my cousin's pregnancy test to come back negative. Just kidding. That's you're so wrong.
So Rue was in a situation where someone near him was exposed. So I messaged him and I said, hey, did you get tested? And then my second comment was, I haven't had to ask someone that since high school.
Oh. Captain Mojo says, is the inbred Santa from the South Pole? Okay, I'll leave.
Oh!
Third Degree says, I imagine you leave out pork rinds and moonshine for inbred Santa.
That's right, you do. Pork rinds and moonshine. Yeah, I think you're correct. And if that wasn't the case, it is now. Look at you making traditions. Remember, use the stick, don't use your finger. And this, I just cut a bunch of tabs. I'm going to work on these tabs and just put in some mustache. And I'll probably put in a little bit of an eyebrow with this stuff too. We do have some hair teasing to do later. So if you guys are excited about hair teasing, it's coming.
Raffy says, I'd ask him for a crick in my neck to disappear. Chad says, I'm sure this isn't on the regular one, but hair on the twin would be kind of funny.
Yeah, and you know what? It would be funny, and that's why I don't want to do it. I don't want to take away from the disturbingness of it by having people stop and laugh. And I think sometimes we get these urges, like nose hair and ear hair and stuff. And if you're working to keep them from taking your work seriously, why are you doing that to yourself?
Horror Beauty, hey, says, can we call you Ducky? Believe Today says, I would ask him for a banjo.
Yeah.
Six String Psycho says, well, I wouldn't sit on his lap either. Anthony Pantano says, can you play some 80s hair metal while you're teasing that hair?
I cannot because of copyright claims, or else we would have some Poison going, or some rap. I knew right from the beginning that you would end up winning. I knew right from the start. You put an arrow to my heart, round and round.
John Hayes says, can you build a large gingerbread house, something whimsical?
I have built a large gingerbread house, fairly whimsical.
How about a haunted gingerbread house? Line Cook Thor says, drink.
Now
Was the gingerbread house that you built haunted? A haunted gingerbread house?
it was in a haunted house.
There you go. Alan can serenade us while he teases hair.
It was full size, and it was all pink foam, just painted and coated.
Rebecca Hudson. My sister-in-law just asked me the same question. I asked her for crafting supplies and tarps so I can finish the dragon. Alan encouraged me to start 2 days after Halloween. David
Hooray.
Thomas says, I think inbred Santa might be more interesting in your livestock. Just be interested in your livestock.
He may be.
Chad Smith says, if we do have to sit on his lap and tell him what we want for Christmas, which eye do we look into?
The little one. Look into the littlest eye. That's the rule.
Blue River Lore, you didn't use your stick to apply that beard hair, you're being naughty.
Yeah.
Heaven Mojo says, I prefer my teased hair accompanied by British new waves such as flock of seagulls.
You know what? I can't name a single song that Flock of Seagulls has done. Like, as far as I can tell, they're famous for their hair. Because I know what Flock of Seagulls' hair looks like. I couldn't identify one of their faces if the hair was removed, but I know what the hair looks like. Couldn't name a song.
Why the littlest eye, dare I ask, says Hunter Beauty.
I just think that if you can hold concentration on the little eye, then I think that he believes in you. It's the only way to get him to bring you stuff. Got to look at the little eye.
Good night, Captain Margo.
Good night, Captain Margo.
Jazz Neff says, how are you tonight, Uncle Al?
I am doing great. How are you? How was your Thanksgiving?
Angie Rogers says she made it late. Okay, check it out, you guys. Everybody's talking about Flock of Seagulls now. There's a rapid Flock of Seagulls and 80s music conversation. Rapid fire.
Okay. Yeah, they were talking about 80s TV the other night, and that's
Right.
what did me in. I'm like, oh, I can't keep up. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
The jig is up, kids.
We're going to talk about the music.
All right. Eyebrows. Let's talk about eyebrows. I'm going to put an eyebrow on. What I'm not going to do is put one hunk of hair from one side to the other as an eyebrow. Okay? That's not how eyebrows work. Eyebrows are a bunch of little hairs, and they have a direction that they go. So I am going to put on some silicone. And now I don't want all this length. This is too much. So I'm going to cut it. And I'm not going to leave it like that either. That looks fake. You go in this way and you cut it and you thin that out so it's feathered again. And now that looks less fake. And now that it's on, I'm going to trim it again. That's a little long. I got some Ming the Merciless eyebrow going on. I don't want that.
Jasmine says her Thanksgiving was very bad because her dog passed away. I'm sorry to hear that.
Wait, those weren't like related, right?
No.
Like there wasn't a meal involved. No? Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. It does suck to lose a pet. Hopefully I made you laugh. Or someone in the room with you while you got angry.
Cobweb says it's hard to do a unibrow when one eye took the train north.
Yes.
Kevin Mojo says Eugene Levy style thick caterpillars.
Okay, do another one. And I need enough overlap on this eyebrow to hide the seam of the last one. And then I'll do another one right there, and then that'll be my eyebrow. And this bit is going to be very hard to put on. It's going to be tiny, and I have to cut the end off of it. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. And then I got to cut the end off of it. For this, I will go to a stick. Definitely going to use the stick for this one.
Will he have a hat, or will he just be stay bald?
He'll have a Santa hat. I'm about to do a little bit more hair too, because the hat only covers from about here down. So you get some hair over here. Just 2 beads. And that's like this one. Those 2 sides are different.
Do we distress the hat?
Yes, his hat actually does get distressed. I don't distress the elf hats when I send elves because I don't know what level their costumes are going to be distressed to, and I don't want to over distress the hat for the costume. But him, he's an inbred. I'm going to make him as distressed as I think it ought to be, and then they can work on that around it.
Alan made me cross my legs when he said it was tiny and he had to cut the end off of
It's not Opa. I'm not a moil.
it. Press on. Dirty the hat up for him. We will, John. I love the part of the movie Wrong Turn where the guy is drinking Pepto, the pink stuff, and says, y'all are going to be the ones to take care of. Cat Swift, if you make these other times of the year, would they have more hair?
Wait, more hair than this is a lot of hair. Now I sell the inbred all the time without hair. Now a lot of times they want like a scraggly beard or something on him because sparse hair looks really good on this. But this is pretty darn. This is a lot of hair, and mostly this mask now is mostly sold as inbred Santa. That is its main use.
Jeff Leach, could you meld the hat into the flesh, kind of make it look like the skin had grown over the hat, like the hat has been on too long?
I could do that if that is what I have on my website and if that's what the customer ordered.
Pat was asking about hair other times of the year, should be like, rather than a Santa hat, hair on the head.
Yeah, I might do like not a beard like this, but yeah, I do a little more hair on the head normally. If they want them haired. Okay, that is him. All of the hair he's going to get. I'm going to let that. I'm going to grab my gloss. I'm going to gloss this up.
Jasmine says good night.
Good night, Jasmine. I am very sorry about your houndo, and I hope that you get another one down the road that you learn to love as much. Okay.
My batteries is low. Do I need to go get a cord?
Maybe 20 minutes.
Let's see. I'll watch it. See.
I want to hit the mouth, the teeth, all the teeth, eyes. I need them to be really wet. And I'm going to tease his hair up a little bit in a bit. But I need to go tease the hair right now on these compasses that I did earlier. It's like a cooking show. I got stuff I did when you weren't looking. Because what have I done today? I was in the shop all dang day. And it looks it too. Yeah, I just like the wild look that teasing it gives it. And I'm going to hit this with spray paint, which will whiten this up. It'll also fill it out a little bit, just like those guys who are going bald, they spray paint the top of their head, just like that.
I bet you have used a lot of hair today by the look of those masks.
I have used a lot of hair. I've gone through 12 packages of hair. This is a teasing comb, and if you look, it's got little teeth in it inside the comb. And that just gives a real good bite on this hair and helps push it back that other direction. It really helps fluff it out.
Where do you get your hair from?
I buy it from a company online now called JBS Hair. Hopefully I have someone on who can give a link. But yeah, it's an artificial hair company out of Atlanta. Atlanta is kind of the artificial hair city. I don't know why or how that happened, but it is. You see, like right now, you can see a little bit through that, and you can kind of see those tracks. That's why we spray paint it. If I didn't want that, I could just use double the amount of hair, but I would have to up the price of the mask. So I try to find that balance between look and cost.
Jasmine says, did anybody take advantage of Liquid Nails Black Friday sale?
I haven't yet, but I might buy some online
Thank you, Scott Goldhart.
before I go to bed. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate you, man. Oh, crack my back. Monday, I don't care about you.
Jean Sanford says hello.
Hey, Gene. Now I'm wandering around trying to find my white spray paint, which I know I used earlier today.
Shane Scare says hello.
Hello, Shane. Alexa, add white spray paint to my shopping list.
White spray paint added.
That's black. One, and I caught it.
Oh my goodness.
Thought it was white. It's not white.
Woo, good job.
Yeah. It's a little, that's a dark patch right there.
Oh my goodness.
I never said that I don't screw up, by the way.
Oh my goodness. Gene says the Krampus is outstanding.
Thanks.
Shane Scare says I just finished my hooves for my Krampus. Heavy
Awesome.
Mojo says Atlanta is the capital of hair because African Americans are the chief customers. It's explained quite well and humorously in the Chris Rock documentary Good Hair. It's fascinating, really.
Really?
Stacy Hawkins says you're my friend, not my smart
I am not
friend.
your smart friend. That's right.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Yeah. A little bit of black dot in there. Blue River, it's helpful that you have spray paint on your shopping list now.
Alan, I've seen people use real dirt, etc. for effects on clothing and props. Would you refrain from that and use paint instead?
Yep. Yeah, well, dirt and stuff isn't organic. And it never fails. People say, how do I age and distress my costume? Bury it in the backyard for a month. Well, that's a great way to get fun skin rashes. Yeah, I can't recommend that. You don't know what's in that dirt. It's a little too organic. It's just paint.
And it'll wash out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, literally, detergent is meant to get dirt out of clothes. I want it to stay in the clothes, so why would I use dirt?
What about Fuller's Earth?
That is a more processed dirt, but it's still, that's a powder. I don't want a powder.
Is that a different type of hair on the Santa than the others? It looks wavier.
The long beard hair is a different type. It's just wavy instead. I hate this type of spray paint. I really want my 2X.
I've made fake dirt out of Birkenstock cork.
Okay. Yeah, that'd probably work.
Alan had an oops and it still looks great. Can't tell. That was funny. Oh, that was funny.
There's a lot of oopses that happen. You just have to kind of roll with them and move on.
Where do you get the movie maker's spray paint?
On the internet, if you Google movie maker spray paint, you will find it.
Does the Santa need to cure overnight?
Not overnight. It takes an hour. Not quite an hour. Honestly, about 15, 20 minutes. Normally it's stiff enough. And his hair job took so long to do that I'm actually pretty sure it'll be fine as soon as I'm done with this next guy.
Masato K says no.
Hello, Masato K.
Rachel Powell says that guy is screaming Marilyn Manson. Cobweb says if you hit up the Dollar Tree spice rack, you can always find something to pass for dirt, rust, grime, or moss.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Moss is one of the easier ones because they sell a lot of scenic moss. Hobby Lobby has scenic moss.
Gene Sam. Gene Sanford says, evil looking, and he's looking for a bottom this bag. Angie Ryder says, I'm sure I'll have some with my making stuff. I'm not the best, but I do a good job. Happening Mojo says, you can also use clay, diatomaceous earth, or adobe. Also potting soil or super cheap makeup powder.
Just spray paint. Spray paint. Brown spray paint makes excellent dirt. Mist it on just a little bit. Don't make it harder than it needs to be.
Good night, Victoria.
I'm so glad that there was more to Jean's comment, because you kind of had a bit of a pause, looking evil and looking for a bottom.
To spank.
To spank. There's a bit of a pause there. It made me a little...
Thank you, Scott.
But whatever you're
put
into.
the link on there for the movie paint.
Hooray! Yeah, movie paint. It is good stuff.
Can you spray through pantyhose to get spur effects?
Yes. Now, yes, you can. Yes. That's not something that I normally do on hair. I think it looks a little unnatural to do those kind of patterns on hair. I did airbrush leopard spots when we did our cats at dark hour.
I'm liking that red and gold with this hair.
Well, see, I didn't have enough of
It
everything,
looks good. I like it.
so I did a little bit of a mix.
That looks good. I like that though. Chad
This
Smith
one.
says it looks like it's a little pricey. I'm gonna have to wait until after Christmas.
What's he getting?
What you get the scar?
Is that movie paint?
I think it's movie paint. Is it expensive?
It's about 10, 15 bucks a can. It's worth it for what it does. But in all honesty, the glossy wood tone is pretty
You
good.
said movie paint, correct?
Yeah, the glossy wood tone is really good, and that's about $10 or $11 a can.
He says $15.95.
But Google it, and you might find it cheaper. You
Is
might
yak-
find a place right now with a Black Friday sale or Cyber Monday.
Is yak hair costly?
Yes, yak hair is very expensive.
Asado K says he can't wait till next Halloween.
I can wait till next Halloween because everything happens at the right time. If next Halloween happened today, well, we'd still be dealing with the Rona, wouldn't we? Let's let it take a while. It won't go away. When someone starts a new job, they're overwhelmed. When a new virus shows up, we're overwhelmed. The job doesn't get easier, they just get better at it. And I don't think that it's going to go away, per se. I think we're going to get better at dealing with it.
Scott
And
Boyer said, I'm sorry.
I want to see that. I want to see us get better at dealing with this. I want to see all of the positives that are going to come out of this, all the positive behaviors. You know, already I see a bunch of people who I already know that they're going to keep working from home. Their company said, you know what, it's working, let's just stay working from home. And I think that's better for everybody. Okay, Scott Joyner says what?
Oh my goodness, I gotta scroll a bit. Kind of looks like Dee Snyder from Twisted Sister.
That is, it's got the big old hair.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what this guy gets. I want to airbrush these edges of the bottom of the horns.
What do you use for reeds that crumpets and dolphin hold it?
Oh, cinnamon brooms. Buy a cinnamon broom, wrap the very end of the handle, and undo all the other bindings. Cinnamon broom. And it's called a rutten, R-U-T-T-E-N. It's a bundle of birch sticks.
I was looking at a half bolt of decent wolfish brown fun fur at Walmart for 7 months. Today it was gone.
Yep, that's how Walmart works. They don't actually order their fur, it's just sent to them, and they don't have any choice either. So they may not get that back. That's why I don't get my fur from there or from Joann's. I buy my fur online from a retailer that I know is going to have that item in stock.
Alan, when you move back and forth, I see inbred Santa, and for some reason it looks like the head is moving. Is moving side to side, like looking one way or the other.
It's possible.
Sorry,
Shannon
says, what?
did hear phantom heavy breathing earlier.
I think your safety video is one of the best videos yet.
Thank you. That's very kind. And the YouTube statistics do not agree with you. That is one of my lowest viewed videos.
Wonder how many mop heads it would take to make a Cousin Ed costume.
Many. And boy, is that going to be heavy. And I know you're thinking new mops, but boy, I'm thinking about how disease-ridden that could be. Since they're meant to trap dirt. Yeah, YouTube actually said, this video is getting significantly less views than your other videos. You might consider taking it down.
Angie Rogers says she's going to make a Grouch figure.
Cool.
And should I be wearing gloves? Yes, but am I? No.
Well, as long as you know, read the can of what you're working with, and then make an informed decision. And because Alan does it that way, is not an informed decision.
I read this right, Line Cook, his safety video took down the YouTube.
Yeah, that's right, because I posted it, and that day YouTube crashed.
Was that the same day?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was the same day. Gene Sanford, I only buy small amounts, 3 yards at a time. If I
Yeah.
made a suit, I'd go online to a place that deals in bolts.
Yeah, and that is Monterey Mills.
Hello everyone from fabulous Las Vegas. Hi Joyce.
Now, and when I was a young mask maker, I would contact those kind of companies and I would ask for samples. And they might send you 3 to 5 yards as a sample, hoping you'll buy like 20, 30 yards.
What good would taking it down do? Is that suggestion just for the algorithm analytics?
Yeah, they don't want me to have a video on there that's not doing well. They want all of my videos to do well.
Was the safety video just not sexy enough?
It is not. It's not sexy. And
Yeah.
it says safety video at the beginning of it, and people don't want to watch it. So now, I bet if I change the thumbnail to like me cutting a finger off or something, I would, well, no, I probably wouldn't get more views because then they wouldn't let me monetize it if it's got blood on it.
Jody Cardinal. I made a Cousin It for my son when he was 9. It was made out of yarn. He was so hot. Note to self, yarn costumes are bad in Florida.
Yeah.
Cowbread says, I just ignore the algorithm.
Yeah, I do to a degree. I've been told lots of times by YouTube and YouTubers and stuff that my videos are just too long. But I can't teach what I teach in a 5-minute video without leaving a bunch out.
Chad asked, just curious, how many new subscribers have you picked up this year?
This year, probably about 10,000.
Ken Zarif says, Alan, you said when I was a young mask maker, you sounded like Homer Simpson's dad.
Yes. Mayhaps that was intentional.
So.
Note, before I put this mask on this post, I removed the airbrush full of black ink.
Rookie says, I love long videos. Masato K says, I blame the ad generation. John Hay says, the statue costumes look very cool, all the patina.
Yeah. I'm not doing a lot of this. I'm just
Yeah.
doing a little bit. Give them a little bit of fullness. Because this beard is going to be a nightmare. I don't want to paint this because this, for the actor to turn his head, you know.
My friend got heat stroke once. Wear your gorilla suit in the summer, jumping around at a gig he was hired to do.
Yeah. I've been there.
Happening Mojo says, I know the solution to all these YouTube woes, cleavage. He's not wrong. Don't you do it.
That's all I got.
Stacy would like to know, are we thinking about going back to business as usual next week?
Closer, yeah. Yeah, I got orders.
Happening Mojo says, and by cleavage I mean geology features. Hard Beauty, YouTube also allows people with eating disorders to have binges on YouTube to monetize and jerks to pretend to kill people as a joke. Ignore what YouTube says. It is an important video. Do you ever sculpt in oil-based clay? Asked Stephen Markley.
Yes, mostly smaller things that I'm going to mold in silicone. I don't like to mold, make plaster molds with oil-based clay.
Happening Mojo's, Hard Beauty says, press is always sell on. Jean Sanford says, what a wild beat. You have 114 people watching. You've been on for 2 hours. Oh, I'm at 2%.
Oh, I just remembered something. Put a pin in that. A pin that is roughly
Alan, do you use the Home Depot
that
toolboxes?
long.
Have you used the Harbor Freight ones?
I have not used the Harbor Freight ones, but I have Home Depot toolboxes. They're all around this room. They're the Husky $300 ones. I don't have a Santa hat in here.
I need to go get mine.
Hey, long, beautiful, hey, Okay, mask works. Turns out it's a mask. What?
Do I need to go get mine?
No. Guys, I'm going to call it there for tonight. We have teased some crumpuses. We did this full beard and full head of hair. And then we did a full head of hair on the other krampus. So it has been a fairly productive evening. But that's what I had for tonight. So we're going to call it. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us. Wife, thank you for reading comments.
I'm glad to read comments.
Say goodnight, wife.
Good night.
Both I and Inbred Santa say good night. Go make stuff!